I got to the kitchen and I met this huge knife. I would have staked it through my heart, I swear I would. Hi, my name is Koketso Maake. I'm from Polokwane, but I currently live in Pretoria. I am the second and last born. My first sister, well, my sister is 13 years older than me, and I live alone in Pretoria. I am a graduate of events management. I did events management in Boston College, Pretoria, Acadia, and this is my story. I am a major depression disorder patient, and it started from a very young age where it actually started with family, and it grew up with me not being confident with myself. I had low self-esteem. I didn't go out much. I actually didn't go out at all. And I was always told that I'm fat. So I grew up with the mindset of being fat all the time. I would try to lose weight, but nothing happened. And sometimes I would lose weight, but it wouldn't be that much of it. So I kept it in. I was a person, and still is a person, who would not talk that much about her problems. I'd just keep it in. Whatever happens to me, I would keep it in. I wouldn't tell anybody. Even if that person did something really bad to me, I wouldn't tell anyone. So I would bottle it up. 2013, I lost my grandmother. I was in grade 12. I was doing my matric. So just the beginning of the year in March, I lost my grandmother and things just went downhill. On 2015, I was repeating, because I was in varsity college. So I was repeating a couple of subjects. And during 2014 in December, I was working at an orphanage. I'm a person who really loves kids, who really loves to see myself around children. I don't have one yet, but I really, really love children. So 2014 December, I went to the orphanage and I asked to work there. So I started working there, and it was because of this little baby. Her name was Duchess. And I would work there every single day, even when I was off, I would go there to see her. Duchess was a bit sick. She had kidney failures, she had kidney stones, and she was still young. In December, she was around 4 to 5 months. So January, I came back to Pretoria to register for school. And then they also transferred her from Polokwane to come to Rankua Hospital so that I could be a bit closer to her, I could check up on her. I remember it was a Saturday. I got a call from my mom. I'm sorry, I'm a bit emotional. I got a call from my mom, and she told me that my uncle had passed away. So I was still dealing with that. And then Sunday morning, I got a call from our house mother from the orphanage, and she told me that Duchess was late. So it crushed me really bad. I couldn't go to school for a week. I couldn't do anything. And besides going through everything that I went through in life, like, that one was a big hit for me. Losing 3 people that were most important in my life, which was my grandmother in 2013. 2016 is my uncle and Duchess. That was really, really, I couldn't take it. So in September, something happened when I was at school What happened was when I got to school, it was still early in the morning when I got to school, I lost it. I couldn't remember which class I'm supposed to go to. From the reception, I couldn't remember the directions as to where I'm supposed to go to or which class I'm supposed to go to. And then I just broke down and started crying, basically. So they took me to the, there's a, a social worker. And then we spoke. But it was a Sunday where I got really sick, and Monday I called my mom and I asked her, you know what, I cannot go to school, please call school. She did, and I went to the doctor. So they did a gastro scan, and they did it again on Tuesday. Tuesday I was admitted. They did all sorts of tests. They did blood tests, they did gastro scans, they did x-rays, they did almost every sort of test there was just to check what was going on, because I had a very bad tummy ache and it wouldn't go away. So they took the second option because they wouldn't find anything in the tummy. I was fine according to the test. So we went to a psychologist and a psychiatrist, and that's where I was diagnosed with major depression disorder. How I deal with it, there is no way of dealing with depression. Some people might say they deal with it through listening to music. Some people deal with it through art. Some people through just, relaxing or keeping themselves busy. But basically, there was no way of dealing with depression for me. When I feel like I'm really stressed, like when I really feel that I'm really stressed and I can't take it, I'd rather make it physical than to make it emotional and mental, which is we cut. We call it cutting. We cut. So that is basically what I did until I went to Vista. I went to Vista 5 times within those years. Last year I also went to Vista. Vista is a depression clinic. It's a depression clinic where people who are depressed go there, and to be honest, I met a lot of people. When I actually thought I had problems, you find that there are kids who are actually younger than me. They check if you have eaten, they check if you have gotten your medication, and if you have like cuts, if you have like fresh cuts, they have to make sure that they change the bandages, they change everything so that everything becomes fresh. So Vista is a place of peace, if I can say it that way, because for me is where I literally find my peace. I don't stress, I don't think too much, and I'm an introvert. I don't like being around people. I love people, but I don't love being around crowded places. And that is not because that's how I am. It's only because I have low self-esteem and I don't have confidence. So I've made friends with, I wouldn't say skinny people. I'd say I've made friends with, they're not skinny. What are they? Okay, firm people. So on my side, when they want to go out and when they want to do things, I used to get invited, but I wouldn't go. So now I don't get invited anymore because they don't even know why I wouldn't go at first. So now they just don't invite me because they know I'm not going to go. My issue with weight started at a very young age. I mean, even in kindergarten, I was still, that's actually where it started. because I had comments from family, mostly family, and people who you think they would encourage you to say you look good in that dress, you are doing this, you look good in that skirt. But I would get things like, hey, no, you must lose weight. When I visited my aunt, imagine at a young age visiting your aunt and she's there eating a full nice meal, and what you get is like salads, you get like tomatoes and lettuce. You don't get the very same meal as she is eating, because she's trying to put it in your face that, you know what, you need to lose weight. And at a very young age, I didn't understand why would someone tell me to lose weight, because I was born a chubby baby. I didn't think of it as a bad thing to be chubby. But as I grew up, that is my mindset. Basically, that is what my mind was changed to, that you know what, you will always be fat, it will never change. The only way you can do this is if you start exercising, if you start eating right, or if you eat this and don't eat that. And it went up to, even now I still get those comments. I mean, they don't change. And it has affected me really bad, because I have lost a lot of friends because of it. I couldn't go out and play. I would rather be inside the house and just sit and watch TV where nobody can actually see me. I had a problem with dating in high school. I wouldn't date anyone because I didn't think I deserved it. I didn't deserve to be loved. I always told myself eventually I would put it in my head that, you know what, big people, fat people, chubby people were not meant to get married. They were not meant to fall in love. They were just meant to be single. So it was really bad until I went to tertiary. I was in varsity college. I met a guy in Zanin, because Zanin is like my hometown. So I met a guy there, and him and I started dating, but I was already in tertiary. And then, I thought he loved me. I thought, this guy is treating me well. But before him and I broke up, I was raped by him, something that my family doesn't know about. So I was raped by him, and he told me I should go home and wash up and dress up because I was disgusting to him, because I'm fat. He wouldn't go for someone like me. So my mindset just stayed there. I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would, ever fall in love or ever be loved by anybody. I'm thankful for my mom though, because she's supportive. She doesn't say it in a way that hurts. She'd rather say, oh, today let's eat veggies. So I get something like that from my mom. So my weight has been a very big and bad effect for me. Even now it still is. I don't dress up and feel comfortable in whatever it is that I'm wearing. Even if it's a dress, something that is maybe just flowy, something that doesn't show my body, but it's still uncomfortable. And I cover up because I've got stretch marks, and there are scars on my hand. Those scars are like the cuts that I do when I'm stressed. I just overcut on the same scars. I've overdosed quite a lot of times. I've ended myself in hospital quite a lot of times because of stress. When you stress about not having a job, when you stress about your friends are on a high level, they got their own cars, they got their own houses, they got it, and you are still dependent on your mom. It stresses quite a lot because even when you apply, it's like you get the unfortunately type of emails, and it stresses quite a lot. So when it stresses me, or when I feel like, and there's a point where depression comes back, if you haven't felt it in a while, when it comes back, it's crazy. It's crazy, because there was a point where my mom denied, or she did deny. She denied that I was depressed. And she took my medication. Somehow she hid them, and I couldn't find them. Sorry, I'm a person who doesn't sleep at night. I can't sleep. So I have to drink meds to sleep. So she threw them away, and that was a problem. It took me a whole week to try sleep. So after that week, I just slept for like 2 days, and I went back to the old pattern of not sleeping. So when my depression came back, it was really bad. When I was asked to wash the dishes, the most sharpest things for me would trigger me in a way where I would have just staked them somewhere through or on my body. So I remember, when was it? Before I came back, because I just recently came back on Thursday last week. But during the week last week, my mom told me that she wasn't going to send money to me anymore. She was just going to help with paying the rates and taxes. She was going to help paying for the bond and electricity and money and food. I have to find my way out with that one. And then I don't know what had happened at that time. She was really angry. She was probably not in the mood. And she sent me to go and wash the dishes. I got to the kitchen and I met this huge knife. I would have staked it through my heart, I swear I would. But when I felt like that, I called one of my cousins. She's the one I trust because she's always there for me. So I called her and I asked her to talk to me, just get my mind off things, just say something, say something that could help me calm down. And we spoke for like an hour. And then after that, okay, so I went back to the kitchen and I washed the dishes. I was fine, I was happy, I was myself. But that night I cried myself to sleep. So my depression also was triggered by me not talking about my problems, not talking about what bothers me. If it bothers me, it's okay. It's bothering me. It doesn't have to bother anybody else. That is my motto, I guess. Because even now, if it bothers me, it's fine. It doesn't have to bother anybody else. Hi, I'm Koketso Maake, and I've been through the most.